The moment our fellow geeks, dweebs, nerds, and other unfortunates have been fervently waiting for has finally arrived. It's time for TMI, Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerf Herder Chandler and Jim Kaiju Baker. And now, let's get on with the show. Here is TMI.
Welcome, everybody.
Wait a minute. Did they already make a movie called Anaconda?
They made with 4 sequels.
The snake just kept populating, huh?
Yeah, I doubt Ice Cube or J-Lo or anybody showed up in any of the sequels. The only one I know of was Anaconda 2 Blood Orchid, I think.
Blood Orchid, I do remember that title.
I thought that's where they ended, but I guess there was more after that.
They went right to direct-to-TV or
direct-to-video?
Streaming?
Yeah, streaming. I don't know.
I
guess
now
we have one in the theater. So welcome, everyone. We are talking.
Welcome very much, everyone in between. I guess Happy New Year would be the appropriate holiday response.
Yes,
right
this
now.
episode will debut during the first week of 2026.
What? 2026? Where did 2025 go?
It can go and stay there as far as I'm concerned.
It can indeed. It's been a wacky year. I'll leave it at that. So Anaconda. So this thing literally just slithered into theaters a couple days ago.
Christmas Day. It's one of those big Christmas releases.
Who decided that a giant snake movie would be a perfect holiday getaway?
It is odd, maybe because they could squeeze some green and red into the poster. Who knows? But
it could be.
But it is some counter programming to Avatar, because I was very concerned when I showed up, because I did see this on Christmas Day.
Okay.
I was very concerned. I showed up at my theater. It was probably 2 p.m. on Christmas. Jam-packed.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's going to be body to body in there, and I'm going to be very uncomfortable. And nope, they're all there to see Avatar.
I will tell you this.
All there to see Avatar.
I was there the day after Christmas, and the same thing. I actually talked to the kid behind the counter, and I said, "You guys are hopping today," and he goes, "Yesterday was insane." But most of the people that were there for my showings were there for SpongeBob.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
it's all lined up. They all had the little SpongeBob hats on and stuff.
Yeah, not a lot of kids in my lobby when I showed up.
No.
So I don't think it was SpongeBob, but I did see, because of course Avatar is playing in like 5 theaters.
Sure.
A steady stream of people in and out. There'd be people buzzing around those Avatar entrances.
Holy crap. Speaking of which, this movie Anaconda is only 90 minutes long, and I had to get up and pee. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about our backup feature.
Our backup feature, yeah.
For anybody who actually wants to listen all the way through.
All the way through, or just fast forward to about halfway through.
Fast forward. What are we doing?
Today's Amigos.
That's right. The Three Amigos.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, our reasoning behind pairing Anaconda with the Three Amigos is because with Anaconda, we sensed some kind of a meta thing going on with the plot. So like movie within a movie kind of a thing. Yeah. And that is what the Three Amigos think they are experiencing.
The other reason is that we already covered Tropic Thunder and Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
So...
You know what? As I was watching Anaconda, I was thinking, you know what a good pairing for this would have been? Conan the Barbarian. Because,
why?
Because it has a giant snake that he stabs through the head.
You're smart. That would have been spot on. I will say that this giant anaconda made me appreciate Manda a little bit more in the Godzilla movies. Yeah, I think they're like blood relatives. So, all right, so that's what we're going to cover. We'll do a little bit of news. I do want to at least acknowledge the passing of Rob Reiner.
He was still making vital movies. You know, I just saw 1 day before this happened, I had watched Spinal Tap 2 on HBO Max.
Yes, I did see that it was streaming. And a quick review on that one.
It was great. I really liked it. It was, had a different energy than the first Spinal Tap. These guys are older
Sure.
And a lot of the humor came from that. So it had some big league cameos as well that I will not spoil here if you haven't seen the movie yet. But I recommend it.
And he did direct this, Rob Reiner.
And he did direct it. And, he's the documentarian.
Right.
The fictional documentarian, that the same guy that he played in the first Spinal Tap movie. So he's coming back to revisit the band.
Who are still touring, I'm assuming.
The whole documentary is about a reunion of Spinal Tap.
Okay.
So it's all about them getting to know each other again.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, I mean, you speak about, this is Spinal Tap. I mean, this guy's oeuvre. When Harry Met Sally, Princess Bride, Stand By Me, Misery. It's crazy.
It encompasses so many genres. A Few Good Men was him.
A Few Good Men, yeah. Well, think about, Harry Met Sally. You're talking like the original rom-com. I mean, it really kind of like set the tone for some of these movies that came afterwards. But like Princess Bride is renowned as a perfect fantasy film.
Yeah, well, just some of these that you mentioned, Misery, Stand By Me.
Stand By Me is
Princess
like a coming
Bride.
of age, yeah.
These will be revered for centuries from now.
They already are. I mean, it's so funny because I went back and I'm like, we've never covered Stand By Me. We did. We had to have.
It was a 5-bucket episode, as a matter of fact.
I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But we've never talked to Princess Bride, which I find inconceivable.
Inconceivable. Well, this is something to look forward to.
Yeah. So we are going to have to put that into the chamber. So I didn't realize he was married to Penny Marshall for a 10-year window.
Yeah, I only realized that when reading some retrospective articles about him.
So that's it. I just wanted to give the man his props because his movie filmography here is, like you said, is going to live on. And thankfully he was able to add Spinal Tap 2 there at the end.
Yes.
So that's it. All right, Anaconda.
That
was the one joke in the entire movie I laughed at. Because the girl's name was Anna.
One girl's name is Anna.
Yeah. And Paul Rudd's character made So when we saw the trailer for this, the initial thought was, is Jack Black and Paul Rudd playing Jack Black and Paul Rudd? Are we going that meta where these are two actors who decide that they want to remake this cheesy movie from 1997?
I assumed that was the case, but I was wrong. So they're not playing themselves. They are playing aspiring filmmakers.
Doug and Griff.
Yeah.
Yeah. With their best friend, Kenny, who may or may not actually be their best friend, but somehow is tagging along.
So these are guys that had high ideals as kids. It's kind of like that Super 8,
Yes,
they're making home movies as kids. This is what they want to do for a living, but life has other plans for them. Jack Black as Doug has become a wedding videographer, whatever you call them.
Yeah. Yep.
And Paul Rudd has tried his hand at acting, has gotten like a third string role on a TV show, but he's been fired from that. So he is moving back home to Buffalo, New York, which I appreciated since I just visited there.
I don't think this was filmed in Buffalo.
I don't think it was either, but at least it's spiritually set there. So Paul Rudd comes back home defeated with an offer to his friend Doug. He has purchased the rights or acquired the rights from the widow of the original holder of the rights to the film Anaconda from the mid-90s, a film that they've loved. Why don't you remake this and I'll star?
So here's my first thought. This movie, the original Anaconda came out in 1997.
Well, they never say that they were kids, right? Maybe they're in their 20s.
Wanted to remake this since they were kids. Literally, my note.
Did they ever say that?
Did 28 years old when Anaconda dropped. So anyways, that was like, I just thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, since you were kids. So you talk about the fact that we do get a glimpse of this homemade movie they made when they were kids. And there's callbacks, and it's about a giant Sasquatch called the Quatch.
Yeah.
And this is the movie I wanted to see rebooted.
Well, just like, you said the same thing for Super 8, right? So
Yeah.
they're making a zombie movie. And in this one, it's the Quatch. But these kids have something. Maybe it's nothing more than passion, but they have something. And anyway, and you do want to see more of this Quatch movie because this is funny. The little bits that you do see.
Right.
But before, we're even introduced to Paul Rudd's character and Jack Black's character here, we get this really confusing kind of jungle. It almost is like a scene from Madam Web.
Oh, geez. That right there should taint the entire thing even more so.
So there's like a chase with motorcycles, and it's in the middle of the jungle. Somebody that's dressed like Laura Croft is being chased by these swarthy-looking bad guys with machine guns. You just get this with no explanation, and then you suddenly swerve to Jack Black and Paul Rudd and Buffalo, New York. So we eventually assume that we're going to get back there in the jungles where you saw this little subplot taking place. But yeah, Paul Rudd has come with a proposition. He wants the whole gang to get back together and remake Anaconda. The throwaway explanation he has for getting the rights is that the widow of the guy that had the rights was a fan of his third string character, and so she just gave them to him.
Yeah, okay.
You only laughed once, you said, right? I thought this was funny, and I really liked just going right into this. As soon as Paul Rudd comes back and gives Jack Black the proposition, you could almost see his synapses firing, like he's now inspired again. And he goes to write this thing, and suddenly the lights change in his room, and he's in the jungle. And I really appreciated that, because when he has to do a rewrite later, the same thing happens. He goes into the zone. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I will say this.
happens.
I think that the two of them have really nice chemistry together. And Jack Black, you can't go wrong when Jack Black is playing Jack Black.
As a videographer, he's always trying to push like horror movie themes on his clients.
Well, that's the genius of
funny.
the opening scene where he's reading the opening. We cut to the jungle, and we're on the camera's on the back of the snake as it's making its way through the right. And this couple is like, this is our wedding video. I'm like, well, you said you're horror fans. Yeah, he's pretty much in this dead end job.
Although he does say, because whoever, I think it's the boss of the video company, tells him this could be yours someday. You could have a B plus life.
Yeah, which pretty much describes this movie.
B plus life isn't bad.
No.
Paul Rudd was rejecting the B plus life. Do you have to be an A-lister? Do you have to have a $1 million annual income?
I mean, we all aspire to, especially if you're going into that industry. So the one thing I want to point out is that this is directed by Tom Gormican, who we last saw directing Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is another one of these meta movie within a movie kind of a thing where Pedro Pascal is like a super fan of Nicolas Cage, and he hires him to come to his islands and have an adventure with him. And that is genius. I think we absolutely love that movie. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of fun. They're poking fun at the movie industry. And I guess I thought that that's what we were going to get here, because this is not... I've read enough reviews now where they refer to this as not a reboot, not a soft reboot or a sequel, but it's not necessarily a reimagining either.
Well, I wonder really
where does it fall?
If the creative genesis of this movie, I'd be interested to see how it came about, because is it very similar to what we see on screen? Like, remember that movie Anaconda? Like, let's get the rights to remake that.
No, these guys had no interest whatsoever. This was supposed to star Nicolas Cage. This was going to be a Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal, another teaming. And Pascal was like, well, it kind of like lessens the first movie we did together. And then I guess he dropped out. And then Nicolas Cage ended up saying, I don't know. But the studio came to these guys and they're like, what do you think about Anaconda? And they're like, I don't know. Yeah, I remember seeing it when I was younger. And so they threw this out there and they were like, all right, cool, let's do this. I want to know why this was made.
The snake is not important here. So
the snake is not important.
So if anybody's going for like snake action, you're going to be bitterly disappointed.
But I think this is more of just the first movie.
Yeah, this is just a Paul Rudd Jack Black really comedic vehicle. This is how it should be viewed as.
Correct. And I think the problem with this, and I talk about this all the time, is the fact that the trailer pretty much ruins every plot point in this movie. From the fact that the real snake that they're filming with, is accidentally killed.
Oh, that's good, because I didn't watch any of the trailer.
Yeah, no, the trailer ruins it. And it ruins the scene where they think that Jack Black's character is dead and they tie the pig to his head. So
that's terrible. If I had seen that.
All those beats are ruined.
I actually thought that he was dead, and I was shocked that they killed him. Yeah. I was like, okay, this is getting down and dirty. Yeah.
I will say I was very disappointed that because even the pig is still alive.
Right.
And we're like, wait a minute, I want to see that pig again.
But so we get a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Well, listen, there's not much plot.
There are funny beats to this. So they're talking about making the movie right after Paul Rudd comes up with I've got the rights. We figure that this has to be a $2.5 million budget. How much is the bank going to loan us? $9,000.
And Steve Zahn's character is like, yes.
Yep.
You're like, yeah, no.
And Steve Zahn, again, I had just watched the holiday movie on HBO Max, 8-Bit Christmas, and Steve Zahn plays the dad. It's an 80s set movie, so then it fast forwards to modern times, and Steve Zahn's character has since passed. I'm like, hey, he's alive, because I just saw him die in 8-Bit Christmas. If anybody is the comic relief, he's the comic relief from the two main comedic characters, because he's the lovable drunk they take along for the ride to try and get sober or try to, get cleaned up. So he's the dummy in the background, the Peter Tork, if you will, of this troupe. And he's Buffalo sober, as he explains.
Buffalo sober. Well, that was pretty funny.
But I love the fact that, they committed to Jack Black's character as a horror fan. It's barely visible, but you do see a poster of Christine in the movie Christine in the background in his apartment. And the snake handler is hilarious. Apparently
this actor, I didn't even take the time to write down his name, and he barely understood English. So he didn't know what he was saying 3/4 of the time.
That's what made it funny, because
he's playing
his dialogue is very stilted.
Santiago.
And what is the snake's name? Hator? His snake.
Oh, yeah, Hator or something like that.
Because they go to the Amazon, right? I assume that most of the budget is for their traveling expenses. They go to the Amazon, they get a boat, they're on the water. They hire the snake guy to bring his pet snake along, which is an anaconda, but it is a very docile anaconda.
I would think for the most part, anacondas are. Yeah. They just kind of lay there. Yeah. Wait for something to fall in front of them. They're not going to exert a lot of energy. I will say the boat itself is a really nice set piece.
Oh, it is. It's like right out of The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah. Also introduced to Claire, who is one of their friends from high school who comes home. She also comes to visit Jack Black because it's his birthday. And I guess her and Paul Rudd had a thing when they were in high school.
Yeah. And this is played by Tandy Newton, who we haven't seen in a while, in a movie at least. I think the last thing I've seen her in was Westworld. She had a recurring part.
Right. That's where she's from. I couldn't even remember how to pronounce her name because there's a W thrown in there.
She used to not have that W. But I guess that's the way her name is actually spelled, and she had lost it over the years, because to make it easier to pronounce.
Yeah, it's Tandy. And this is where we're reintroduced to Anna, the girl that we met at the beginning of the movie that's on the run on the motorcycle from what you would assume are pirates, smugglers.
Because the one thing that is established during that very confusing opening scene, the chase scene in the jungle, is she says at one point, I need a boat. So she's looking for a boat, and she does away with the actual owner of the boat before they set off from port and pretends that she's the owner of the boat. So that something's going down with her in the background. But in the middle of all this, I love the creative discussions that they have at night when they're not filming, talking about coming up with the idea of the revolutionary double headbutt. And I guess Tandy Newton is one of the ones that's supposed to deliver it. So they're all trying to give their air headbutts to see how good that they are.
Right.
And
so
that
does come back. Yeah.
Yeah. Hator gets out, and that's a nice little scary scene because it visits Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
But he's, again, he's just checking out the boat. He's not there threateningly or anything.
Yeah,
and I
would
felt
not
kind
be
of
thrilled.
sad.
I would
the
not
snake.
be thrilled to, well, any animal in captivity, probably being fed frozen rats.
Poor Hator, because the big scene that he has to film is where they're telling Paul Rudd just to hold him and to get his face close to the snake's face so they can have a nice close-up shot of them in the same shot. Paul Rudd is apparently terrified of snakes, and he's trying to back out of the scene. He should have
probably thought this through before he fake acquired the rights.
So he spasms. Once the snake is on top of him, the snake goes overboard and gets caught in the propellers. It's terrible. And this poor little snake, this very well-behaved snake, Hator. But yeah, that's when they go off board and they're looking for a new snake in the brush. The snake handler gets it, or, he's at least taken temporarily. And then the gold smugglers come back into it.
Okay, so we saw Santiago get taken by the snake.
Yeah.
And then later, when they're on the run from the giant snake that just happens to be in the jungle, and they're hiding out in the van, does the snake not spit him out onto the windshield?
It spits something out onto the windshield.
It's the guy, Santiago.
Could it have been one of the smugglers?
No, because I think they referenced him by name.
Oh, maybe he spit him out whole and just knocked him out.
But it looked like his face was all mashed up because, I don't know. But anyways, it doesn't matter because end credits, we find out he's still alive.
Yeah.
And we get the whole speech about you're better off getting eaten because if he spits you back out, that means you're going to be alive when he eats you a second time. Mm-hmm. And more than likely, all your bones are crushed.
So it's set up that Jack Black could feasibly still be alive, but he's out for so long that I was just assuming the whole time that he was dead when they were, tying the pig to his back and everything.
Yeah, Kenny's like, I checked his pulse, he's dead. And then they decide they're going to tie the pig, duct tape the pig to the back of his shoulders, and then just for good measure, shove a squirrel into his mouth. That was the second time I laughed. Whose idea was it to shove the squirrel in my mouth? Well, it wasn't really like anyone's idea. It was like a group idea.
But of course, as the gold smugglers are catching up with Anna, the guns are coming out, the motorcycle chasing, they decide to use all of this for their movie. So the real drama that they find themselves in, they're filming at the same time.
On his phone at this point.
Yeah, a real nice meta moment is when Sony actually shows up on the Amazon. Are they on the Amazon? I assume that they are.
Well, you would think the Amazon's pretty damn big too, and yet they somehow come across each other.
Yeah,
and
Sony passes them in their massive boat saying, oh, yeah, we're filming a movie. We're making a reboot of Anaconda. And everybody looks at Paul Rudd.
Yeah, and you find out that he lied. I just want to get the band back together.
Yeah.
So he gets fired.
So then there's that whole thing, well, what about IP? Does that really matter? Yes, that matters.
Yes, that matters. Yeah. And this is where Jack Black gets mad. And so he decides to fire him.
Yes, and this is pretty stupid because they fire him and Paul Rudd goes off on his own in the Amazon on a raft. Oh, I'll just catch up with the Sony boat.
Yeah,
maybe they'll give me a ride
interesting
home.
That no matter where they go, they end up to find their way back to the boat, or if they're off, they go this way. It's like, okay.
So Paul Rudd goes around the bend. He does catch up with the Sony boat, but he sees that it's been destroyed by the real snake that's out there, the prehistoric size snake that's causing real life damage. So everybody's killed. Everybody in Sony has been killed, we assume. And I like this because it was very reminiscent of the Jaws ride at Universal, because you see another boat similar to your tour boat at one point on the Jaws ride sinking in the water.
I think someone just took that ride and they're like, oh, we can make a movie out of this.
Yeah. Jack Black, quote unquote, dies, comes back to life with the pig strapped to his back. There's a scene now where he gets bitten by a tarantula and they have to pee on him.
Okay, this is another running joke.
This was another running joke because the only one that needed to pee was Steve Zahn, yet he has pee shyness and he also needs to sit down when he pees. So this was funny as well. I can't believe you didn't think any of this was funny.
I was not. I don't know. Maybe I left my funny bone at home.
Yeah.
It was exactly what you thought it was going to be, I guess. I like I said, the trailers itself ruined all the beats, but I guess I was looking for a little more pseudo meta. I don't know.
So did the trailer ruin the Ice Cube cameo as well?
No, but I literally rolled my eyes. I saw it coming a mile away.
Because what they end up doing, the big set piece at the end where they have to kill the snake is taking place on the Sony set, which is on one of the banks of the river. But of course, it's been decimated already by the snake, and Ice Cube is the only survivor. So he gives them some advice. He goes off on his own way in the jungle and leaves them to it. They use one of the golf carts to lure the snake into the pyro, which
I guess all the pyrotechnics were all lined up. This is actually one of the nice little tie-ins with our backup feature, was the fact that Ice Cube uttered the line, "Welcome to Hollywood, Buttercup."
To actually give the killer blow to the snake, Jack Black has to bury that fake Oscar the plastic Oscar that he carries.
World's famous Doug. You knew that was coming back, and he had it in his pocket the entire time.
So that's why I'm saying that this was a spiritual
there you go, to
sibling
Conan.
to Conan.
That actually would have been fun if only we had seen it first.
They make it back to Buffalo. They screen it at the Buffalo Film Festival. Is this a real thing? I don't know if there's a Buffalo
I don't know,
Film
but
Festival.
I can't even imagine that the film itself has to be so disjointed. It's like, how do you bridge those scenes that he's filming? I don't know. I was waiting for more like a Man of La Mancha. Here's a missed movie, and it's all behind the scenes chaos of what unfolded. And basically, we're watching the movie we just watched.
Right.
Them trying to make the movie.
Yeah.
No, it's a fully formed film that gets a standing ovation.
In memory of Hator and Santiago. As the credits roll, they have their moment in the sun at the Buffalo Film Festival. The movie's over. Then you get the closing crawl of what's happened to the characters since. And of course, it says Sony did give them a cease and desist order. Yeah. So they did not have the rights. It's considered a bootleg. And then suddenly, post-credit scene, J-Lo shows up at Doug's door. Is this
how Hollywood really works?
Yeah.
J-Lo just shows up at your door and says, "Hey, I saw your bootleg movie, and I'd like you to be the director on our next movie." I wanted to see the Wild Pig return.
So the audience that I was amongst, again, not a full house, but it was comfortably full.
Yeah,
it was comfortably full. Audience was completely into this. My son loved this movie.
Oh, good.
He was yucking it up the entire time.
And he's probably never seen the original.
Oh, no. He probably never even heard of the original. For that, I was appreciative of the movie because it's rare that I get like an unabashed glowing review from him on anything that we go to see. So, I think really enjoyed myself. And again, if you can just let go of the fact that this is a giant snake horror comedy, because it's not even horror comedy. It's just a comedy. The snake is besides the point. It gives us a couple of very brief, nice action sequences, like at the very end with the pyro. But this is basically a Jack Black, Paul Rudd comedic vehicle. Go in with your expectations at that level.
The one thing I'll say is in the original Anaconda, they did go out of their way to create a physical snake prop, which is on display at the one of the film museums now. Here, whenever the big snake shows up, it is clearly CG.
Did they use something when it was like right in Paul Rudd's face?
It had
and
to
he
have
was
been
supposed
a
to hold
physical.
it?
Yeah, it had to have been at least a physical prop.
Yeah, but that would have been just the head, obviously.
Yeah, we'll add the rest in later. I'm thrilled to hear that your son liked this because I think maybe this is who it's meant for. Paul Rudd and Jack Black are basically playing themselves. And that was, I think, is part of the my misconception going into this, that it's not as meta as I thought it was going to be. It's just straightforward. Here's a bunch of doofuses that are going nowhere in life. They have regrets. Let's go one last hurrah together. Let's go make this movie.
You really can't go wrong with public awareness of these actors. Like Jack Black is coming off Minecraft, like one of the biggest movies of the year, and Super Mario, and we saw him as Bowser in the trailer for the new Super Mario coming
up. That looks fantastic, by the way.
So Paul Rudd Also all-encompassing. Just Marvel is just one of the many things that he does. Steve Zahn is always been a most valuable player in these comedies. I think it was just a perfect storm, because my son is very aware of all these actors and just the familiarity helped him get across the finish line.
You can't go wrong with Jack Black playing Jack Black. And that's exactly, he's not deviating any way, shape, or form from what you've seen him in before. Mm-hmm. I will say, if you want to see a fun Jack Black, Steve Zahn movie, Saving Silverman.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really fun movie. And Steve Zahn was also with Matthew McConaughey in Sahara, which was based on a Clive Cussler novel. And it's actually, I think it was 2005, somewhere around there. And that's a fantastic movie. Penelope Cruz.
Steve Zahn, I think I first really became aware of him in That Thing You Do. He was one of the band guys.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Again, he's always been an MVP for me in a lot of these comedies.
I'm not really sure. There was a kind of tongue-in-cheek reference to Kung Fu Panda. At one point, Jack Black actually utters out "snakeity snake, snakeity snake." I'm pretty sure that is a reference to Kung Fu Panda.
It just came out really, I think, as counter programming at this time of year to your Avatar,
which is probably not
SpongeBob.
The dumbest move.
Budget-wise, it cost $45 million to make, and on its opening weekend, including Christmas, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they are estimating that it will gather $20 million, so almost halfway there already to match its budget. So
there was a gentleman in front of me who had two young boys, and halfway through the movie, he's scrolling on his phone and he's holding it up to his face. And I'm like, this movie's 90 minutes long. You can't keep your. I held back on throwing popcorn at him, and then finally I just said, "Can we put our phone down?" And he did. And I was waiting for fisticuffs out in the lobby, but that didn't happen.
Here's an interesting tidbit: the J-Lo scene was filmed in November of this year.
Yeah, that was a last minute, we need to get this. Well, listen, if you have Ice Cube, so John Voight's gone. Eric Stoltz was in the original run. What the hell's he doing? Why didn't he come back?
And didn't they mention that Owen Wilson was in the original? I don't remember that.
That was the other thing too. Yeah, because there's that scene with Paul Rudd when he comes across the boat and he's calling out their names. Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, Owen Wilson, if you're in this one, are you okay? So where do we go from here? Because apparently Sony's like, this is it, man. We got to reboot now. So do you make another movie with these characters acknowledging the fact that they're in a movie?
With J-Lo and Ice Cube and
Right.
I don't know. I think that they should just leave it alone. I don't know if they will.
But if this makes money.
But will it now just go right to the Blood Orchid route? Now they're just going to make them go direct to...
Dude, yeah. We made it into the Buffalo Film Festival. Let's go back out and do now that you're the big time director.
But that would be if they actually did use that title for a sequel to this, Blood Orchid or whatever, and just do it with Jack Black and Paul Rudd. I would be on board with that.
Let's get the band back together one more time. Yeah, I don't know.
So I really liked it. I thought it was a nice day out with the family, Christmas Day afternoon movie. I'm going to go 3 3/4 buckets.
Man, you love this. I wish I liked it more. I honestly just asked myself, well, why does this exist?
Oh man.
It just didn't. I felt that it was so middle of the road, it was non-committal. Either go, I don't know. I'm giving it 2.5. I'm right down the middle. 2.5. If you saw the trailer, which, like I said, it ruins it. Which just drives me insane.
That is really too bad.
I mean, you're hitting all the beats in the movie itself that you're like, all right, that's like you said, you genuinely thought that Jack Black's character was dead. Like I said, even at the end, you get the end credits and Santiago's alive. Now he's trapped out in the Amazon all by himself. I did enjoy the fact that the snake growled. Just like the shark in Jaws 4, whenever you saw him, he was making noises. I'm like,
he's making noises.
Snake don't make noises.
But I love, there's also the one scary scene in this is when you see when I say the real snake, the snake that's not the docile snake, in the water from above. And you just see the length and breadth of it.
It's a big snake.
It is a big snake. Yeah. Let's leave Anaconda and go to the concession stand. It's me this week, right?
Hold on. Before we go to the concession stand, did you see all the female leads who turned down this movie?
I did not. For the Tandy Newton part?
I would assume it's for the Tandy Newton part. Yeah. Scarlett Johansson, Jennifer Lawrence, Kristen Dunst, Karen Gillan, Jessica Alba, Megan Fox, Kristen Bell, Lindsay Lohan, Rachel McAdams, Amanda Seyfried, and Bryce Dallas Howard all turned down the female lead. Now, I don't know if that's entirely true, but that's a pretty much a who's who in Hollywood right now.
I wonder if that was before Jack Black and Paul Rudd were attached.
I mean, what the hell's Lindsay Lohan doing?
I know.
Freakier Friday?
Any movie with Jack Black is going to hit somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, let's go to the concession stand.
Whatever.
My concession treat today is based on our second feature. And it didn't take much thought to pull this up. Three Amigos. What has a 3 in it? Three Musketeers.
Son of a genius. And we've never covered Three Musketeers.
We have never covered 3. This probably is the most major candy bar that we have not yet covered after years of doing
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. We have not covered.
No, we did. I think we did. At least we did Reese's Pieces.
We did Reese's Pieces. I don't think we've ever done the peanut butter cup. No.
Oh,
so Three Musketeers.
This is
That's
Three
spot
Musketeers.
on right there. That's been waiting. Yes. That's just been sitting in the dustbin waiting for this movie.
It has. So Three Musketeers, the Mars Company, the same people that bring you Milky Way and M&Ms and what have you. But this was the third product released by Mars in its history, behind, I believe, M&Ms and Milky Way.
Is that why they named it Three Musketeers?
It is not. That is a nice synergy, but it's not why they named it Three Musketeers. They named it Three Musketeers because originally it was 3 bars in one. It was chocolate nougat like we have today, vanilla nougat, and strawberry nougat, and they all represented the Three Musketeers.
Were they like Twix, like bars side by side?
They were. It was in one package, and so this came out in 1932, this bar, middle of the Great Depression. So the big selling point of this thing was that you're getting so much for only 5 cents. So it was made kind of for those times. During the Second World War, when sugar became much harder to come by, they scaled back on the 3 flavors and only started to make the most popular of the 3, which was the chocolate nougat kind.
But kept the name.
But kept the name, Three Musketeers, because they had that, already brand recognition.
Sure.
The Three Musketeers novel is from the 1800s, right? And by that time in 1932, it had been made like 7 or 8 times already into movies, in the silent era and then going up into the early 1930s. So there was a lot of brand recognition. It was a very much touched upon IP, for lack of a better term, for back then in popular culture. So everybody knew Three Musketeers already. So I don't know how they got the rights to it. I couldn't find anything if they had to pay somebody to use that name. But that's why it was very much based on the book and whatever movies had come out that everybody had known.
They literally have a little graphic on the. Maybe they're not there now, but they used to be.
They used to be, yeah.
Three
with like the French colors of the flag there with the 3 guys, yeah.
Ooh la la.
Nougat. So this is whipped egg whites with chocolate. I don't know if caramel is thrown in there into the nougat, but it's like that really light, fluffy kind of a thing.
That does not exist in nature.
I'm sure it's, partially, if not fully hydrogenated. But yeah, it's really weird. And a lot of people choose to freeze the Three Musketeers. What I'm reading online is that I think there was like a how-to, like, do you want like something that's similar to ice cream? Then freeze your Three Musketeers. I've frozen a Three Musketeers before. It is not like ice cream. It's just a frozen block.
Yes, yeah, that'll actually chip your teeth. I bet you those are dentists that recommend that. You're going to crack a crown.
3 flavors back when it first came out. And just to give you an idea, 5 cents back in the Great Depression was pretty much the equivalent of $1 today. So that would still be value for money. Sure. If you had like a big bar that was 3 flavors, I think that would still be a bestseller. So after the war, it just switched to 1 solid bar of chocolate nougat. It really took off in the 1950s. If it was doing well in the 30s, then that's nothing compared to the 1950s, because that's when the first major ad campaign for it started. This came out in the 30s with just word of mouth, just minimal ads, and they figured that word of mouth and its low price point would set it over the top, which it did. But in the 50s, ads started running on the Howdy Doody show. A theme song started, kids would sing along, because this is when you're doing ads live during your TV show.
Sure, live reads.
So kids would sing along to the ads on the show.
Was this before or after Howdy lit up a cigarette?
I have no idea.
Do you remember the Flintstones used to hawk cigarettes?
The little guys were, as you said, for years, I remember them as a kid in the 70s, having those three little guys on the package. You don't see that now. It's just like the Three Musketeers logo. They are gone. But they actually brought them back in the 90s in the ad campaign. So they had three actors like on the commercials for Three Musketeers as the Musketeers.
In the 90s?
In the 90s, yeah.
Well, was that Charlie Sheen reboot movie.
They decided against using Charlie Sheen as a... But there's an urban myth around Three Musketeers that back when it was first introduced, they accidentally mixed it up with Milky Way. This is the Mars company. Accidentally mixed it up with Milky Way, so what would have been a Milky Way became a Three Musketeers, and what would have been a Three Musketeers became a Milky Way. So there's conspiracy theorists who buy a Three Musketeers and think that it's really and truly a Milky Way, that this is what the Milky Way should have been, which is not true in any way, shape, or form.
What's the difference between...
Well, a Milky Way has some nougat, but it's big on caramel as well. Three Musketeers is completely nougat.
Oh, there is no caramel.
There is, if there is caramel, it's mixed into the whipped nougat. Milky Way actually has that strand of caramel that when you bite into it and you pull it.
Okay.
Yeah. So since it's been released, of course, in the 90s and so on, like anything else, it's come out in multiple different flavors. A big one was chocolate mint. Mint, I think, would be pleasing to me. French vanilla came out at some point in the 90s or the 2000s. Mocha cappuccino, Three Musketeers.
Oh, I'd be on board for that.
Yeah. Strawberry came out as a nougat flavor.
Strawberry.
And two dark chocolate varieties. One with cherry and one with raspberry nougat. Orange is another flavor. I love chocolate and orange together. Although I have to admit, even though this is the perfect candy to pair with Three Amigos, I have never been a Three Musketeers fan. I just think, even though it's, fluffy and very light as a candy, I think that's its problem. It's not substantial enough for me. You're always wanting more, and it's not more Three Musketeers. It's more of something else.
You need something else.
Yeah.
To cleanse my palate from this.
Exactly. I don't know what your relationship is with Three Musketeers. It was never my go-to candy, not even my second or third choice.
I don't think it's my go-to, but it does seem to be the leftovers whenever you get the little fun-sized Halloween bags. The Three Musketeers always seem to be sitting at the bottom of the bowl.
Yes, because...
So then they end up in my lunchbox.
They're like the Butterfingers of the Mars company,
there you go.
Three Musketeers.
Butterfingers.
They really pump those Halloween multi-packs full of Three Musketeers and give you minimal of what the good stuff is.
Yeah.
Just like the Butterfingers. And
all right, which is our lowest seller.
One.
Let's put it in there. Yeah.
But there you have it. Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers. That's genius pairing right there.
All for one, one for all. That's what they said, right? Yeah.
That is, yeah.
All right. Three Musketeers leads us to another Three Amigos.
1986.
Six? Yes, I was convinced it was 87. I'm usually very good with my movie years, but I think because this was released in December of 1986, it held over into 1987.
Well, I definitely saw this in the theater.
I did as well.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Because you can't go wrong. I mean, you got Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short.
Yeah, and this was a huge time for these mashup comedian movies, right? We've already done Spies Like Us. You had Ghostbusters. So you bring in like huge names together on screen, and this was just another indication of this.
This had been bandied about for quite some time because there was a lot of big name comedians attached to this.
And Steve Martin, this was his idea, right? To take a Magnificent Seven kind of concept and do this with clueless actors.
I'm not going to rat out my family member, but when we were watching this yesterday, somebody said, this is just a ripoff of A Bug's Life. I'm like, oh, hold on, slow down. You're going to hurt yourself right now.
Yeah. This is Disney IP. So, yeah, this first came about in 1980. The idea came to Steve
which is
Martin.
wild.
Right when, the original Saturday Night Live cast was still largely intact. So this originally was supposed to be a vehicle for Steve Martin, Dan Aykroyd, and John Belushi as the Three Amigos, which I think would be great. If Belushi was doing like full-on Animal House.
Oh, forget it. That would have been a completely different movie.
It would have been.
Yeah, I guess Steve Martin actually referred to it as the Three Caballeros.
Yeah.
In an interview, which was a Disney cartoon in the 40s.
So if you go on the Mexico boat ride in Epcot Center, or Epcot as it's now known, it is hosted by the Three Caballeros featuring Donald Duck.
Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Now, I also saw John Candy was originally set to play Ned, but he couldn't ride a horse.
Yeah, I also read that the costumes were too restrictive. I'm like, you can't like get a tailor to make one that fits him?
The entire town knew how to sew.
Yeah.
Why not just make new costumes?
But for whatever reason, he didn't do it, and he recommended Martin Short, which was his SCTV alum. Martin Short also had just, done a season of Saturday Night Live, so he was well known in the.
At one point, he even does a little Ed Grimley dance.
Yes. How can he not do it? I think he does like that little dance in every single thing that he does.
Correct. Yeah.
But obviously, friendships were made because he's with Steve Martin now on that Only Murders in the Building.
I did make a note. Like, how curious is that to this day? Steve Martin and Martin Short have worked together, and yet Chevy Chase not so much.
There was an interview with the three of them together, from 1986. On the Blu-ray that I got from the library.
Okay.
And it's probably a 10-minute interview. They're asking them each, were you looking forward to working with these guys, knowing their work? And he put that question in the interview to each and every one of them. And Chevy Chase just says, oh, yeah, I wanted to work with Steve forever. Martin, I didn't know any of his stuff, because this is the first thing that he's done. I'm like, that's not the first thing that he's done.
Wow.
And you could just see, Martin just, look into space, did he just really say that?
Yeah. I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
What a douchebag.
But it's also funny because they're asking them, okay, what are you working on now? What's your next movie's going to be? And Steve Martin's like, oh, there's this movie called Roxanne I'm working on now I'm really excited about. And then they go to Martin Short, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm working on this movie called Interspace that should turn out good.
88, 87, 88, somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah.
And Chevy said what?
What did he say? I forget what he said. Right now, I'm making the director miserable on Christmas Vacation.
So I want to speak about this for 1 second, because when I was doing research for this, did you know Chevy Chase was in an 8-day coma after heart failure in 2021?
I did read that, yes.
I did not. I have never heard this story at all.
I think that just came out.
They were telling the family. Yeah, apparently it's in some, I don't know if his daughter wrote a book or somebody wrote a book, but they were telling the family, there's a good chance that's it. You're never going to see this guy again. That was well hidden. So, but yeah, this is it produced by Lorne Michaels?
It is. Yeah.
Right. So you got Lorne Michaels as a producer, John Landis as a director.
I never put two and two together that this was a John Landis movie. This was news to me. But Bernstein. This would have gone to Steven Spielberg at some point in the early 80s. That as
well. That's insane.
But he chose to do E.T.
That
instead.
Shows you how long it was floating around.
Yeah. And his idea was to have Robin Williams with Steve Martin. I forget who the third guy would have been, but another big.
In my notes. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Steve Martin, Bill Murray as Dusty Bobbins, and Robin Williams.
Can you imagine like the scenery chewing that would have been going on with these three guys?
That would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you can't help but watch this now and then know some of these stories about Chevy Chase and just be like, this guy's. Don't get me wrong. I love Chevy Chase.
Oh, yeah.
But the behind the scenes stories, even Bill Murray to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Just kind of ruins it. You're like,
can you imagine those two like butting heads? Because even back in the SNL days, you heard that there was bad blood between them because Bill Murray was the guy that came in to kind of take his place in the cast.
Well, Chevy Chase got full of himself.
Yeah.
I don't need to be on this show. I'm a Hollywood bigwig now. I'm making movies.
Yeah, apparently I read that there was some run-ins on set of this movie, Three Amigos, with John Landis.
And Chevy?
I don't know what line it was, but Chevy refused to say a line in the script. I wish that whoever was reporting this actually said what the line was, but Landis was like, okay, I'll give it to Marty to say. And then he finally, wait, let me reconsider. Yeah.
You're there to make a movie.
But it opens, we've been down this road many times before, the plot of this movie. So we have a poor little town in Mexico. What's the name of the
Santa Poco.
Santa Poco. Yep.
Yeah.
They are being ravaged by El Guapo.
A hopper? From A Bug's Life.
Oh, from A Bug's Life, yeah.
Yes, El Guapo.
Guapo.
This guy is friggin'... This guy steals his movie, by the way.
He does. I like these guys. They're funny guys.
Would you say I have a plethora of piñatas? Do you know what a plethora is? Yes.
So he's terrorizing this town. They have no other recourse but to try to find champions outside the town to help them. So you see the poor the mom from town. Was that her son that was with her? I don't know.
I don't know. She seemed too young to have a kid.
But
she seemed like she was the town virgin.
She gets run out of all the seedy bars in the neighboring town. She's trying to find some pure of heart guys to help them out, and they all laugh at her. And
she runs into the church who happens to be showing some silent movies, and boom, there's their heroes right there, the Three Amigos. Wherever there's injustice, we will be there.
And this is great, the remaking of a typical silent movie.
Yeah, completely.
They've all got caked makeup on, and
makeup, and the lips, and the bad screen reads. You said you got the Blu-ray?
Yes.
From the library. I ended up watching this on YouTube.
Oh, really?
And I have seen it. Yeah, the complete movie's on YouTube. You got to sit through commercials, and the resolution's horrible. And if you want to watch it on streaming, today's the last day. So by the time anybody hears this, it is not streaming. I literally got a notification from IMDb saying, Sunday's your last day to watch this movie that's on your watch list. I'm like, I guess I better watch it tomorrow.
Right.
Then. It opens with them singing.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't remember this at all. Before the credits roll, before you're introduced to the village.
Remember that because when I saw this in the theater, that was the biggest laugh when they held that note.
And they do their own singing. They hold that note for 14 seconds, that high note. And so it's fun right off the bat. You're like, these guys, we talk about this chemistry between, Paul Rudd and Jack Black, and say what you will about Chevy Chase and his behind the scenes shenanigans. You can't help but love these three guys, like right from the get-go.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about Chevy Chase and all these rumors about him is that he puts it on screen. He is funny. He delivers in every movie that he does. If you got to deal with him, he's still going to make your movie better. You got to think. You got to think that way.
Yeah, I think he's on a bit of a redemption tour right now because he's been going around to a lot of these screenings of, like, say, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and they do a screening and they do a Q&A. And from what I understand, he's very amiable and very likable. So
the other odd thing about this is that it's co-written by Steve Martin, Lorne Michaels, and Randy Newman, the songwriter. This is
interesting. Who also plays the singing bush,
and who writes all the songs in this as well. I can't picture Randy Newman's voice singing the Three Amigos theme, but he wrote it.
Oh, he wrote it, yeah. So it's fun.
We are the Three Amigos.
Is that your Randy? I like it. I like it.
Before Toy Story, all I knew him from was I Love L.A.
Yep.
And then Short People.
Short People.
Yeah. So how he ended up writing part of this movie, I don't know. But he also wrote the music, which is much more understandable. Takes place in 1916 during the full swing of the silent era. And then we have Joe Mantegna as the studio head. Montagna.
Yeah, this is great. Phil Hartman and John Lovitz as well.
Yeah, they were currently SNL cast members when this movie came out.
It's always fun when you see guys like that because I forgot they were even in this.
Yeah, I'm sure Lauren got them in there.
Yes men,
yeah,
the Goldsmith studio execs. And this is where you get the backstory that, their bread and butter is these three amigos, but their last picture didn't do so well.
Yeah, so what is Amigos Go to New York or whatever? So they broke the formula. And so Mantegna is offering them, okay, let's do another Three Amigos. Let's just stick to the old formula.
So they all live together in this studio house.
So their digs are given to them by the studio. Their clothes are given to them by the studio.
Everything is given to. Yeah, I mean, you were back in those days. You were owned by the studio. Yeah. You weren't allowed to go film for somebody else.
So this seems like they've got a pretty good deal, more than a pretty good deal going for them. But nope, Lucky has to reach for the stars. He's like, no way.
Yeah, you're full of himself there.
Yeah, you're gonna go do this on our terms.
Yeah. And what the kiss of death is that they make fun of Miss Renee, who starred in their last movie with them. And Montagna is like, oh, she's a future. She's fantastic. And they're like, she is El Stinko. And he's like, what? That's it. Literally,
they don't show Miss Renee in the.
No, you'll only see the poster.
Right, because apparently there is a scene with Miss Renee on the cutting room floor, played by
Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher, yeah.
Fran Drescher. Because I also read Sam Kinison filmed character.
Yeah.
And he also ended up on the cutting room floor. Fran Drescher would have been funny. Because again, think about the fact that it's a silent movie. That's the whole premise of Singing in the Rain. Is that they go from silent movies to talkies, and their star actress has a horrible voice. So yeah, I could see Fran Drescher being like, ah.
That would have been a great scene. Come to think of it, but
yeah.
But they get thrown out. Their clothes are stripped from them, so they get thrown out on the street in their underwear.
Yeah. And this is funny when Montagna kicks back and he's like, you get nada. Do you know what that is? And Chevy Chase is like, is that a light chicken gravy? There's a lot of these little stupid throwaway lines that you're just like, all right, that's funny.
Things that I didn't necessarily think were funny as a 15-year-old or 16-year-old watching this that I can much more appreciate now.
Well, just the scene where they're trying to sneak back into the studio and steal their costumes because they have absolutely nothing. And Steve Martin is up on the top and he starts doing the bird calls. And these two idiots are just oblivious. So he's like, caw, hey, you down there. I'm laughing my ass off. Going, that's so stupid. Yeah, so they steal their costumes.
Yeah, and the reason they steal their costumes is because they get this telegram. Of course, a bike messenger rolls right up to them as they're in their underwear on the
Three
street.
Amigos? Other fans see them get kicked out of the studio and they immediately rip up all their autograph books.
Now, the poor woman back in Mexico, she had to save the word count so she could afford the telegram.
Yeah, it was like 21 pesos or something. And he's like, yeah, I'll make it worth 10. And he just starts cutting out all these words.
Initially, she was calling El Guapo evil and all these descriptive words. And the guy just says, I will just use infamous. And she goes, what is infamous? Like all those words that you said.
All those words that you just said. But they kept reading it as infamous. Yeah.
He is so famous, he is infamous.
Infamous. So she couldn't pay 21 pesos for the message, but is offering them 100,000 pesos.
Yes, because she assumes that they will not accept any payment because that's what they do in the movie.
That is what
she
they do in the movie. So I can offer you.
I can offer you anything and you won't take it.
So in 1920, that's equivalent of $50,000. which seems like a lot of money. And especially when you adjust it for inflation, you're talking like almost $700,000 in today's money. So that's a lot of money. And there's that scene where they're all laying in bed together and they're like, what are you going to do with your half? What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to buy a car and I'm going to drive around and I'm going to thumb my nose at all the studio execs. Well, I'm going to open an orphanage. Oh, yeah, I was going to do that too.
I was going to do that second after the car.
Right. So they decide that's it. Yeah. They're going to go to Mexico and put on this show, But
to be fair to the Amigos, even the unedited version of the telegram is still very ambiguous. Yes. Like you could have read that version and still think that this was a show that she was putting on.
Yeah, put on a show.
You get to the same bar that the poor woman was kicked out of in the beginning, and the German pilot shows up.
Yeah, this isn't odd. Like this German pilot just shows up because I'm here to meet some friends.
Where'd you get that pretty gun, partner? And you got Sam Elliott there insulting him. And of course, the German guy kills him and 4 other guys immediately and says, I hope you treat my friends much better than you treated me. They have less heart than, I'm the kind one of the group or something, he says, and he leaves. And of course, the Amigos show up immediately after he leaves.
Yep. And so they think that
they're all terrified of them. Yeah. And here comes the My Little Buttercup.
Oh, that's right. My Little Buttercup.
Now, I'm looking at the credits. Randy Newman wrote this song. I'm thinking this is a real old song that they're singing.
That's not even I would have thought that
Randy Newman wrote My Little Buttercup for this movie.
Who knew? Because we can sing that. We all know it.
Yeah.
From this stupid movie. Yeah, it does sound like something from the 1916s.
They ask for light beer, and he's like, "We don't have no beer."
Oh yeah, he goes, "We only have tequila." Is that like beer? And he goes, "Yeah." Is it fattening?
Fattening.
So they all down the tequila, and then pull that,
Yeah.
And I think it's Steve Martin in the high pitched voice. He goes, "Probably watered down." Yeah.
And then they leave and the real Germans show up. And let me point out that one of these guys in the bow tie and the suit is the shapeshifter from X-Files.
Yeah, he's the alien bounty hunter. I met that guy. He was at a Hudson Valley convention.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was years ago. Brian Thompson. You are correct. He is the alien bounty hunter from X-Files.
So as soon as they walk in, look at the sissies.
And then they start gunning people down.
This is not a good day for these people in this bar.
Yeah.
Then you get the plane joke. The plane, the German
plane. I think it's a mail
flies
plane.
by.
How can you tell? Well, the tiny balls. And he just keeps.
And Chevy doesn't get it. Like he still doesn't get it as they leave the scene. And then they arrive in the town. The 3 amigos arrive in the town that they've been called to defend. And the little kid comes up to one of them. Can I have your watch when you're dead?
Which he does give to him at the end. It was cute.
They give him a meal, and he's like, do you have anything besides Mexican food? Because he can't.
That's such a great line. How many times do you think they cracked each other up?
I know.
But this is where you get the, all right, I guess we got to go out and perform. They get on their horses, and they're like, you slimy dogs, you sons of a motherless goat, scum-sucking pigs. Okay. Now tell us we're going to die like dogs. You will die like dogs.
And these guys are just confused. Let's go back to El Guapo and report what we've seen here.
Yeah,
I think that's literally what they say.
We left them. Yeah, but unfortunately, El Guapo returns. Yes.
And Steve Martin shows off his rope tricks that he learned as a teenager in Disneyland when he worked at one of the magic shops.
I know, you were just mentioning Epcot, yeah.
And of course, after Steve Martin gets shot, that is forgotten that he's been shot for the rest of the movie.
You never see His suit is intact. There's no blood.
He's never favoring his arm whatsoever.
No, you are correct.
Yeah.
But it's like, he's like, that's real bullets.
He's like, and he goes back to the other guys. This is real. This is real.
Well, before he realized it, he goes, you're in a lot of trouble, mister.
It's like, give me that gun. Like, he takes out, he looks at the bullet. Yeah.
Oh, great.
But they start crying and they plead their case to El Guapo and they run them out of town. Yes.
So this scene where they're out in the desert at the fireside.
Yep.
Why do I remember this with singing animals? Was that a completely different
turtle?
movie?
You didn't see the turtle sing at the end?
It's just turtle. It's just one turtle. Who's talking? I remembered like all the animals like singing in unison with.
I know the animals were there, but I didn't think that they sang. Your brain playing tricks.
It could,
That's what it is.
It could have been. But so they need to. So first of all, those bats that they're eating were made out of bacon.
That's delicious.
They're not eating real bats.
That is delicious.
Just in case anybody was concerned. But they're told that they need to find a singing bush who's going to lead
Which is, this whole setup is just for the one joke where they shoot the invisible swordsman. They have this whole plot device that goes on for like 10, 15 minutes.
Right. No, yeah, we got to go. We got to find the singing bush.
Just to get to that punchline. Yeah, go to the singing bush. Say the magic words, shoot them in the air.
Yep, yeah.
Chevy Chase just shoots sideways.
Oh, great. Now you shot the invisible swordsman.
So what he was going to tell them was what? Where El Guapo was?
How to get to the El Guapo.
Oh.
If you're an invisible swordsman, you think you just walk in and kill El Guapo.
But the magic words that they say as they're shooting into the air, what Steve Martin says is the name of his character from The Man with Two Brains.
Huffer.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is a running joke in that movie.
After they leave the invisible swordsman, they're in the desert and they're dying of thirst and
the canteen scene.
Chevy Chase is gargling with his water. He's putting it on his face.
This, like I said, I think this is indicative of how he treated the calves.
And he throws it out, and it's not even empty. Lip balm?
Lip balm. This is where we find El Guapo. He's getting ready for his birthday party.
It's like, and they give him the present. He's like, it's a sweater. And,
we gifted. We all got together.
And he's wearing it. He's around his neck the rest of the movie. He's got it tied around his neck. So, and the Germans come back into it now, and I guess they're selling El Guapo guns. That's why they're there. And like after he takes out the first gun, he's like, "What's that guy's name up there?" Paco. Paco, hold up your hat. Higher, and then just shoots him anyway. Yep, the Three Amigos have a change of heart. They feel so guilty that they've turned their back on this town, so they decide to man up and go and defeat El Guapo.
Well, I think they realize they have nothing to go back to.
Yeah.
Lucky immediately gets chained up in this elaborate dungeon.
So why you would like have all the workings inside the cage with the guy that's tied up, I don't know. But
no. And oh yeah, by the way, just for shits and giggles, here's the keys I'm gonna leave right there. It's just it's for sight gags.
They all attack at the same time, and they all like Lucky gets taken. Martin Short is hanging because he's
stuck. He got his feet stuck in the pinata.
So he's up there, like watching everything, and they don't know that he's there.
Up there. Right. And meanwhile, Dusty gets to rescue the girl.
Martin Short finally falls like onto the table in the middle of El Guapo's birthday celebration. And he's like, what is the line? Are gringos falling from the sky? Is the German guy says, you're my hero. I've watched all your movies back in Germany. He's like, and I always wondered, am I faster than Ned Nedlander? So they have like a high noon moment with Martin Short and the German pilot.
And just a funny scene where they're making fun of his little gun. So they give him the big one.
But Ned gets him. Ned's faster.
Meanwhile, Lucky got free. Got them all dead to rights. Put down the guns.
Escape in the plane, but El Guapo goes to the village because I guess he's going to hold the village accountable for the Three Amigos.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah, you're the ones who brought these knuckleheads here to begin with.
But before they make it, they have an idea, I guess, from one of their movies. What can you guys do best? They ask the village.
We can sew. There is a scene like this is like, this to me is like very reminiscent of the townspeople building the fake rock ridge in Blazing Saddles, where you just get this crazy montage. They're all sewing, making these costumes. But there's a scene where they're digging a hole and the guy has literally got open-toed shoes while he's shoveling. And I'm like, oh, that can't end well. This is why steel toes were invented. But
Martin Short goes to the woman. So very old one. So like the wind.
Oh, like you've never sewn before.
But the idea is that they sew like 100 Three Amigos costumes and put them on the villagers. But when you actually see this in use, it's always them. It's always them.
Yeah, and then at the end, when all the townspeople come out, you see they don't even have like the red cummerbunds or anything on.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's not what you just showed me 2 minutes ago. They all had the hats with the embroidery.
This is enough to freak out all of El Guapo's men, and they all desert him. El Guapo himself gets shot.
He does get shot.
And he says to him, "That was a good trick. Come closer. I have something to tell you."
And he shoots him in the foot.
He goes, "That was a good trick too," and dies. So Steve was shot twice during the course of this movie. Yeah. They leave as heroes.
So I do want to call this out because I found this fascinating. At the very end of the movie, all three women, there's three women that come up and each give them a kiss.
Yeah.
And there's a girl at the end who comes up and she kisses Ned, Martin Short.
Yeah.
So this is Rebecca Ferrati, who was June 1986 Playboy Playmate of the Month. This lady hung on my wall in the dorm college for probably years.
Did you realize this?
I had no clue until I started doing research, and I see that. So she was acting under the name Rebecca Underwood, but she is former Playboy Playmate, and are actually known as Rebecca Ferrati. And I did a Google search, and sure enough, I found it in a heartbeat. This woman brought me into manhood.
So she was the one at the end that just comes out of nowhere with the deep cleavage.
Correct.
And
Yeah. So
he's not in the movie at all, except for that one scene.
Except for that scene, yeah.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that's wild. Yeah, Rebecca Ferrati. As soon as I saw that name, I'm like, oh, I know that name. Yep, indeed.
So, again, this was released in December of 1986, so it was considered a Christmas movie. It came out over the Christmas holiday, at least. Budget was $25 million. It made $39 million, so I'm not sure if that's considered a hit or not, but... But you'd think that this would have made so much more because it's so high in stature these days.
Well, now it is. Now it's called. I did read something where Steve Martin was asked to come and do a Q&A with some of the cast for the 25th anniversary, and he's like, "Why?" Because he had no clue that it really kind of attained a cult, status.
Right, and as I said before, I didn't really appreciate this as much as I do now. When I first saw it in theaters, I didn't laugh that much. It wasn't on my list of favorite comedies, and then I think, its stature has grown with me over the years.
I think that's how I felt about the first movie. Maybe in a couple of years, I'll appreciate it more. Yeah,
because I remember sitting in the theater watching that animal scene around the fire thinking this is kind of stupid.
It is. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stupidity. Somehow it works.
But apparently John Landis lost final cut of the movie.
Yeah, that's odd.
So he said that the studio butchered his cut of the movie, or what he was working on, because he had to concentrate on the Twilight Zone court case, and the studio took it out of his hands.
I wonder if that had anything to do with it. They're like, yeah, your name's tainted.
There are 20 minutes worth of deleted scenes on the Blu-ray, which I haven't watched through, but I assume it's got the Fran Drescher, it's got the Sam Kinison, that
I'd
type
like
of
to
stuff.
See.
So I wonder if these were studio decisions to drop their scenes.
Interesting.
Could be.
Know. Yeah.
It's not like the movie seems like hackneyed or chopped up. It does play very smoothly.
It's actually very streamlined.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they just wanted to, not get bogged down in some of this other stuff. I mean, you can still get that Fran Drescher character joke without showing her, because it's not like she shows up anywhere else.
Although that would really be funny if they did have her come on like,
yeah. Right?
Yeah. But yeah, there you have it. Three Amigos. Yeah. So what would you give bucket-wise? How many pinatas would you give?
Oh, I'm going to give it 3.5 pinatas.
3.5 pinatas?
That's not quite a plethora, but it is still pretty solid.
I'm going to go 3 1/4 pinata for the Three Amigos. Pinata. So you know what I would like to do one day that I haven't seen in forever? Speaking of Chevy Chase, Modern Problems.
Goldie Hawn?
No, I don't think Goldie Hawn's in it, but it's the one where he gets ESP.
Right, yeah. He's behind the truck full of sludge. And
yes. You know what would play good with that? What would be a good co-feature with that? The Incredible Shrinking Woman with Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin. That was pretty solid. I think Rick Baker played the gorilla.
Because that was like what? Was like a mixture of household chemicals that make her small or something?
Yeah,
that was
because I think she ended up... the whole point of the movie is that she sues the manufacturers, I think. I don't remember now. It's been a while.
2 forgotten 80s comedies right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Speaking of forgotten comedies, Want to do what else did we do?
What else did we do?
I didn't do much leading into Christmas. My time's a little tight.
Yeah.
But now that both my kids are home, we were curled up the other night and I was like, all right, just find us something to watch. And so my son says, oh, I've been meaning to watch this old Ryan Reynolds movie that I had never heard of called Waiting. You know anything about this?
Well, I've seen quite a few of his movies that I don't know what the titles are. So just give me the plot.
Yeah. So this came out in 2005 and it's all set in a single day about a group of kids working at a Bennigan style restaurant called Shenanigans.
No, I don't think I've seen this.
All right. Well, so you got Ryan Reynolds, Anna Faris, Justin Long, Luis Guzman, Dave Coker, who was the cowboy in Anchorman, Dane Cook, Wendy Malick. So it's a pretty big name cast, and it was a pretty solid soundtrack. But I'm watching this, and I'm like, is it called Waiting because it's eventually going to get funny? There's a running joke where they're just there's an intern that they're just running through, and the kid never says a line in the entire movie, constantly gets cut off until the end of the movie. But there's a running joke where all the male workers go out of their way to reveal their genitalia to each other in really odd ways. And if you're squeamish about sending food back in a restaurant, you'll not want to watch this at all.
Yeah,
because it gets pretty disgusting, some of the stuff that they do. But I never heard of it. I didn't know anything about it. You can see Ryan Reynolds definitely has that it factor, but it's not funny. It just wasn't funny at all. So it was an oddity for sure.
So was your son bitterly disappointed?
I don't know if he was disappointed. I think he laughed more than I did.
Oh, okay.
But he crossed it off his list. He's like, all right, now I saw it.
There's a movie that just appeared on Peacock, newer release called Bugonia.
Oh, yes.
So this is the latest Emma Stone, same director that did Poor Things. She plays like a corporate boss who is kidnapped by a character played by Jesse Plemons.
Yes, I saw this trailer and I'm like, I'm intrigued by this.
Because he thinks that she is an alien and she's bent on world domination.
Which would explain a lot.
So most of the movie is her, kidnapped with Jesse Plemons. And it's sort of a comedy, just like Poor Things was sort of funny, but it had some gravitas to it as well. So I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I'm not going to say where the plot goes.
Whether
so
she's an alien or not.
I don't want to spoil it. So
I'm happy to know it's streaming. I want to watch it.
Yeah, it's on Peacock.
There you go.
All right. So next time we are going back into the classics, are we not?
We are. This is actually very exciting, especially because our first feature is dropping back in cinemas.
Yes. So this is going to be a Fathom event. Now, last time, Jeff, we covered a Fathom event. You didn't actually go to the Fathom event.
No, and I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to pull this one off either because we're going to be on vacation. But I did see in the theater yesterday that they were the dates, and I might be able to squeeze a screening in before we leave.
I'm going on today to just see what the ticket situation is.
Right.
I doubt that these would be sold out, but you never know. Labyrinth will be what we're covering. The David Bowie
40th anniversary.
Yep, David Bowie, Jennifer Connelly. So it was released in 1986.
Yeah.
And along with Labyrinth, we're doing another fantasy favorite from the 80s, The Never-Ending Story.
Never-ending Story.
Yeah, so this movie did exist before Stranger Things. So, yeah. We were all aware of it well before Stranger Things. So we are taking it back. The Never-Ending Story.
We are taking it back. There we go. There is one that Thursday and Friday. There is one screening, 6:00 screening. I don't know if I can make that. We'll find out.
Headed to the Saturday screening myself.
So Never-Ending Story. Yes, very exciting.
Now, do you have that? Do you own The Never-Ending Story?
I do not.
No,
I do not. I do not own either one of these.
I do own Labyrinth on Blu-ray, but of course I'm going to want to see it in the theater. I'm sure the Never-Ending Story, we can get that Blu-ray at the library, so
I'm sure
we can look for that. But yeah, that's what's going to be on our agenda next time, Labyrinth and the Never-Ending Story.
Screaming into the new year with some oldies.
Yes, kicking and screaming into the new year.
Very excited.
All right, so thank you for hanging out with us today.
Yes, thank you as always. Happy New Year. Let's see how it goes.
We'll see you next time. If you like what you just heard, be sure to follow TMI Confessionals of the Nerd Kind on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, or whatever you listen to your podcasts on. Also, be sure to email us at tmipodcast2018@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on all of our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, Threads. Just go to tmiconfessionalspodcast.com. All of our links are there. And leave us a 5-star review. See you at the concession stand.
Lip balm?